Hey viewers, welcome to African Tales by Afi. Please kindly click the subscribe button to get notified for more amazing stories. The rain poured heavily one evening as Daniel drove home from a long business meeting. His expensive black car moved slowly along the wet, shiny road. Thunder rumbled like a giant drum in the sky, and lightning lit up the trees and buildings around him. Daniel sighed. He hated driving in the rain, but tonight something unusual caught his eye. Under the old stone bridge by the side of the road, a small figure huddled. At first, he thought it was just some stray animal trying to stay dry, but as his car lights shone brighter, he saw it was a young woman. She was soaked, shivering, and holding a thin blanket tightly around her body. Daniel's heart squeezed. He had seen many people in need before, but something about this young woman made him stop. He pulled his car over and grabbed an umbrella. As he approached her, she looked up, her wide brown eyes filled with fear and surprise. "Please. I'm not causing trouble," she said quickly. "I'll leave soon." Daniel knelt down beside her. "You don't have to leave, miss. I just want to make sure you're okay. My name is Daniel." She looked at him, confused. Why are you talking to me? Most people just pass by." "Because I care," Daniel said softly. "What's your name?" "Amara," she whispered. "Well, Amara, you shouldn't be out here in this storm. Can I help you? Maybe take you somewhere safe?" Amara shook her head. "No. I'm fine. I'm used to it." Daniel looked at her with gentle eyes. "No one should be used to this, Amara. How long have you been living like this?" Amara lowered her head. "A while. I lost my job, then my apartment. I have no family. This bridge is my home now." Daniel's heart broke. He wanted to help, but he didn't want to scare her away. So he made a decision. "All right," he said, standing up. "I won't force you. But I'll come by tomorrow. Maybe bring you something warm to eat?" Amara blinked, surprised by his kindness. You'd really do that?" Daniel smiled. "Of course. Everyone deserves kindness." The next day, true to his word, Daniel returned with a thermos of hot soup, fresh bread, and a thick, dry blanket. Amara was still there, sitting under the bridge. Her face lit up when she saw him. "You came back," she said, her voice soft. "I said I would, didn't I?" Daniel chuckled. "Here, eat this while it's still hot." As she sipped the soup, Amara closed her eyes and smiled. "I haven't had warm food like this in months." Daniel sat beside her and listened as she slowly opened up about her life, the struggles, the heartbreak, and the loneliness. Each day, Daniel returned, bringing small gifts, books, food, and warm clothes. But more importantly, he brought friendship. Day by day, Amara's trust grew, and Daniel found himself looking forward to their conversations. One evening, as the sun set and painted the sky with orange and pink, Amara turned to him and asked, "Why are you so kind to me, Daniel? You're rich, important, and I'm nothing." Daniel looked at her seriously. "Don't ever say that, Amara. You are not nothing. You are brave, strong, and kind. Money doesn't decide who is valuable. People do." Amara wiped a small tear from her cheek. "You're the first person who's ever said that to me." Daniel gently placed his hand on hers. "Well, I mean it. And I want you to know that you are not alone anymore. But even as their bond grew, Amara's heart was filled with worry. She feared she was not worthy of Daniel's kindness. She was scared to hope, afraid she might lose everything if she let herself believe she deserved happiness. Still, Daniel remained patient. He never pushed her. He just kept showing up. One day, as the weather got colder, Daniel grew more worried. Amara, he said seriously, this cold is dangerous. Please, I have a guest house. You can stay there. Just until the storm passes. Amara hesitated. I don't know, Daniel. What if I don't belong in your world? What if people look at me and say I'm not good enough? Daniel smiled warmly. Let them talk, Amara. What matters is what we know. And I know you deserve to be safe. After a long pause, Amara finally nodded. Okay. But just for one night. Daniel beamed with relief. Thank you, Amara. You won't regret it. And so, for the first time in a long time, Amara slept in a warm, cozy bed, under a roof, safe and cared for. The next morning, soft sunlight peeked through the curtains of the guest house, gently waking Amara. She blinked and sat up, confused for a moment. The warm bed, the clean sheets, the quiet, everything felt so strange. And then she remembered. I'm not under the bridge anymore, she whispered to herself. Just then, a soft knock came at the door. Good morning, Amara, Daniel's cheerful voice called. May I come in? Amara quickly pulled the blanket up around her. Why yes, you can. Daniel stepped inside, holding a tray of breakfast. Pancakes, fresh fruits, and a glass of orange juice sat neatly arranged. I thought you might be hungry. Amara's eyes widened. You didn't have to do all this, Daniel. Daniel smiled. I wanted to. You're my guest, and guests deserve kindness. Amara sat quietly, staring at the food. Is something wrong? Daniel asked softly. It's just. I feel like I don't belong here, she said in a small voice. This house, this food, it's too much for someone like me. Daniel sat down across from her and looked into her eyes. Amara, listen to me carefully. You belong wherever you feel safe and cared for. This isn't about money or houses. This is about you being treated with the respect you've always deserved. Tears welled up in her eyes, but she smiled. Thank you, Daniel. You're always so kind. As the days passed, Amara stayed longer than one night. Daniel didn't rush her. He simply gave her space to heal, bringing her books, puzzles, and even teaching her how to bake cookies. They laughed together often, and little by little, Amara's sad, tired heart started to feel lighter. One afternoon, Daniel said, Amara, I want you to meet some of my staff. Amara's eyes grew wide. Your staff? Oh, Daniel, I don't know if that's a good idea. They're kind people. Besides, you're part of my life now, Daniel assured her. Nervously, Amara followed Daniel into the main house. The house was huge, with tall windows, shiny floors, and sparkling chandeliers. She had never seen anything like it. Good afternoon, everyone, Daniel said as they entered the room where his housekeeper, chef, and gardener stood waiting. This is Amara, Daniel introduced. She'll be staying with us for a while. The housekeeper, Miss Helen, smiled warmly. Welcome, dear. But not everyone smiled. Mr. Garvin, the butler, gave Amara a long, cold stare before nodding stiffly. The chef looked puzzled but said nothing. Amara noticed the mixed reactions and lowered her head. I shouldn't be here, Daniel. Daniel gently lifted her chin. Don't think that way. Some people take time to understand. What matters is that I know you belong here. Later that evening, as they sat by the fireplace, Amara opened up. I'm scared, Daniel. What if people say I'm only here for your money? What if they think I'm not good enough for you? Daniel took her hand. People will always talk, Amara. But the truth is, you have given me something money never could, happiness. I would rather lose everything than lose you. Amara's eyes filled with tears again, but this time, they were tears of hope. You mean that? She whispered. With all my heart, Daniel replied. Just as they were lost in the moment, the front door opened, and a tall man walked in. He looked a lot like Daniel, only sharper and colder. Daniel, the man called. I hear you've been making some very strange choices lately. Daniel stood up, his face tense. Victor, I didn't expect you so soon. Victor glanced at Amara and raised an eyebrow. So, this is the girl under the bridge. Amara shrank back, but Daniel stood protectively in front of her. That's enough, Victor. I just want to understand, Victor said, folding his arms. You risk your name, your company, and your future for a girl you barely know. Daniel's voice was steady. I know her better than anyone. And I won't let anyone make her feel less than she is. Victor sighed and shook his head. You're a fool, Daniel. You always let your heart control your head. I'd rather be a fool in love than a man with no heart, Daniel replied. Victor sneered, we'll see how long that lasts. After Victor left, Amara sat quietly, her hands trembling. Daniel, maybe he's right. I'm just a problem for you. Daniel knelt before her. Amara, listen to me. You are not a problem. You are a blessing. I will face anything and anyone for us. Amara nodded, feeling a strange new courage inside her. For the first time in a long while, she believed she was worth fighting for. Days passed after Victor's visit, but his cold words still echoed in Amara's mind. Though Daniel did everything to comfort her, a small part of her heart remained afraid. Afraid that one day, his world might reject her completely. One morning, as Amara sat in the beautiful garden, she whispered to herself, I have to find a way to belong here. Not just as Daniel's guest, but as someone with purpose. Just then, Miss Helen, the kind housekeeper, approached her with a basket of fresh flowers. Good morning, Amara, Helen greeted with a warm smile. These flowers remind me of you. Of me? Amara asked, surprised. Yes, dear. You've bloomed beautifully despite the hard storm you've been through. Amara smiled shyly. Thank you, Miss Helen. But sometimes I still feel lost. Helen sat beside her. That's normal, child. But you can't let your past define your future. Find something that brings you joy. That's how you'll truly belong. Those words stayed with Amara all day. That evening, when Daniel returned from work, Amara greeted him with something she hadn't said before. Daniel, I want to do something. Daniel's face lit up. Anything, Amara. What do you have in mind? I want to volunteer at the community center downtown. she said with determination. I want to help others, like how you helped me. Maybe I can give someone else hope. Daniel beamed with pride. Amara, that's a wonderful idea. And so, the next day, Amara visited the community center. She helped serve food, read stories to little children, and even organized clothes for the homeless. As the days turned into weeks, Amara found joy in helping others. The people at the center didn't care about her past. They only saw her kindness. One evening, while Amara was at the center, Daniel decided to surprise her. He quietly watched as she gently handed warm soup to an elderly woman. You're a natural, Daniel said as he walked up behind her. Amara turned and smiled. I finally feel like I'm not just taking. I'm giving, too. I'm so proud of you, Daniel said, wrapping his arm around her. You have no idea how much this means to me. But not everyone shared Daniel's happiness. One morning, while Daniel was at a board meeting, his business partners brought up the topic of Amara. Daniel, one of the board members, Mr. Brooks, spoke sternly. The news is full of stories about you and this girl from the streets. The company's image is at risk. Daniel's jaw tightened. Amara is not just some girl. She is my partner. If you have a problem with that, you can find someone else to run this company. The board murmured among themselves, shocked by Daniel's boldness. You're risking everything, Mr. Brooks warned. I've already gained everything, Daniel replied calmly. And her name is Amara. The story spread in the media. Some people admired Daniel's courage, others criticized him harshly. But Daniel stood firm. He loved Amara, and no amount of gossip could change that. When Amara heard about what happened, she felt overwhelmed. Daniel, I never wanted to bring you trouble, she said tearfully. Daniel held her tightly. Amara, you didn't bring me trouble. You brought me life. But the world, they think I'm not good enough, Amara whispered. The world can think whatever it wants, Daniel said softly. You are more than good enough for me. At that moment, Amara finally believed it. Months went by, and Amara and Daniel's love grew stronger. The mansion that once felt strange to Amara now felt like home. She no longer saw herself as the girl from under the bridge, she was now a woman full of hope, love, and courage. One bright morning, as the birds chirped in the garden, Amara stood waiting for Daniel with nervous excitement. When he entered, he immediately noticed her glowing smile. Amara? You look like you're keeping a secret. Amara bit her lip, her eyes sparkling. I do have a secret, but I can't keep it anymore. She took his hand and placed it gently on her belly. We're having a baby. Daniel's eyes widened, and for a moment, he was speechless. Then his face broke into the biggest, brightest smile Amara had ever seen. A baby? We're having a baby? He repeated joyfully. Yes, Daniel, Amara whispered, her voice trembling with happiness. Tears filled Daniel's eyes as he pulled her into a warm embrace. This is the most wonderful news. You've already given me so much, and now you're giving me a family. The months of pregnancy brought new challenges, but Daniel never left Amara's side. He read her bedtime stories, sang to her belly, and talked excitedly about the future. One night, as they sat under the stars, Amara sighed softly. Daniel, sometimes I still think about the bridge, about the cold, the fear, and the hunger. Daniel squeezed her hand. You survived all of that, my love. And now look how far you've come. But I don't want to forget it completely, Amara continued. I want to remember so I can help others like me, and so our child knows where we came from. Daniel smiled proudly. And that's exactly why you'll be an amazing mother. When the time finally came, their beautiful daughter was born. They named her Hope, because she was the light that bloomed from their darkest days. The house was filled with laughter, tiny cries, and the pitter-patter of baby feet as Hope grew. Daniel and Amara cherished every moment, teaching their daughter the importance of kindness, love, and gratitude. Years later, on a peaceful spring afternoon, Daniel, Amara, and little Hope, now 5 years old, took a walk through the city. Amara led them down a path Daniel hadn't seen in years. "Where are we going?" Daniel asked. "You'll see," Amara replied with a mysterious smile. Finally, they arrived at the old bridge where it all began. "This is where I used to sleep, Hope," Amara said gently, kneeling to her daughter's eye level. Hope looked up at the bridge and then at her mother. "Here, Mama?" "But it looks so scary." "It was scary," Amara admitted softly. "But this bridge is also where your papa found me. He didn't see a girl with nothing. He saw someone who needed kindness. And because of that, our story began." Hope reached out and hugged her mother tightly. "I'm glad Papa found you." Daniel smiled, his eyes glistening. "Me too, sweetheart." This old bridge reminds us that even in the darkest places, love can still find a way. The three of them stood together under the bridge, once a symbol of pain, now a symbol of hope, healing, and new beginnings. As the sun set, painting the sky in beautiful colors, Amara whispered to Daniel, "Thank you for stopping that rainy night. You changed my life." Daniel smiled, his voice full of love. "No, my dearest Amara. You changed mine." And hand in hand, with Hope skipping ahead of them, they walked home, not just to a mansion, but to a life built on love, faith, and the beauty of second chances. Hello Tribe, hope we enjoyed today's story. Please kindly put what you've learned in the comments section. Please remember to hit the like button, share this to your friends and family as well as subscribe to see you on the next one. Bye.